part of how I speak and how I breathe, but it does take work and effort, and it's not something that you get through a shot or a pill. It takes some time and effort, but certainly the results are worth it.
Well, you certainly sound dramatically different, and I might add, and I'm sure you would agree, much better than the tape we heard of you earlier, so it sounds
Absolutely.
like whatever you're doing.
I went with my wife on our 35th wedding anniversary and had to whisper for 2 weeks. My voice was so strangled.
That's after the Botox shot.
Some wives would like their husbands to whisper, I'm sure. Doctor, one last thing. You authored the book, Stop Committing Voice Suicide. If people want to get in touch with you to find out more about this, how could they do that?
They can get 1-800, call 1-800-932-3221. That's 932-3221.
As you see it there on the lower part of your screen there, and also a voice-doctor.com, is that correct?
That's correct, voice-doctor.com. And they can find all the information about cures, individuals who have been cured. They come from the Mayo Clinic, diagnosed there, UCLA Medical Center, scripts and so forth, cures of hopeless voice problems. And Jacques was told his condition was hopeless. Jacques, you want to talk about that?
Actually, we kind of have to wrap things up, but Dr. Morton Cooper, appreciate you stopping by and joining us. And Jacques Dupuy, good to have you along as well. And congratulations on your newfound voice.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And Donna, what's coming up?
We're back in studio. You've heard some information on how I help cure spasmodic dysphonia. Deep throat voices are the cause of spasmodic dysphonia. My field, the academic field, the American Speech Hearing Language Association, has on its official website saying that this condition is neurological, it's incurable, and Botox is a treatment of choice. That may be true for the people who wrote that, but it's not true in reality. So there's a difference between rhetoric and reality. I report cures of the condition. I'm the only doctor in the world doing so for 35 years. It seems to me appropriate that others should get on my bandwagon and learn what I'm doing. But unfortunately, I am a pariah in my field. I'm a pariah in the medical field. My medical colleagues do not look to cures for one reason or another. The academicians do not look to cures. In fact, all medical websites in this country and in the world guarantee there are no cures of spasmodic dysphonia. My field, the American Speech Hearing Language Association, the premier organization to help people with communication problems, guarantees there are no cures. Allergan, the maker of Botox, guarantees there are no cures of spasmodic dysphonia. And I simply continue to report ongoing cures of spasmodic dysphonia for 35 years. There seems to be some dichotomy, a difference between fantasy and reality. The book that just came out is called Curing Hopeless Voice Problems. The strangled voice, it's called the strangled voice. It sounds like somebody is throttling you as you're trying to talk. Medically, it's called spasmodic dysphonia. It is curable. There is hope for a cure. It takes doing. It takes a change of image, a change of voice use, and it's like the book Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, which is my book. It was out with Harper Collins, first Harper Row. It's now in the 19th printing. I changed companies because of some technical problems. The book continues to sell. It's in the library. It's free. My other books are all self-help. They're in the library, called Stop Committing Voice Suicide. On the cover at the top, it says the medical mystery of spasmodic dysphonia has been solved. It has been solved, and the condition is due to deep throat talking, and natural help can help change it. It's a step-by-step procedure how to get out of the strangled voice. Let's take a listen to those who suffered spasmodic dysphonia. Stay tuned as you hear the voices strangling, and then you hear a clear voice. It's a dramatic change, and you're wondering if you're hearing what you just heard. You're hearing what you just heard. The strangled voice is curable. Take a listen to before and afters of the strangled voice by direct voice rehabilitation, all natural.
And I took a round of antibiotics, and then they put me on a stronger antibiotic, and I took that. And I began to feel good, but the voice has been a mess ever since.
I'm commission sales at Sears, and that's my livelihood, is my voice. I got so depressed just not being able to talk that it definitely affected my life.
This voice was coming out. I think, God damn it.
Within a month of therapy with Dr. Cooper, I was using my voice again to the extent that I could go out on interviews and auditions, and shortly thereafter actually worked.
You can hear the obstruction starting to obstruct now, I think.
This is the new voice.
There is that aspect of lightening up, but there also is an aspect of having the correct pressurization.
And he said, I don't want you to talk in that little girl's voice anymore. You talk in your regular voice. I said, but when I talk in my regular voice, you can't understand what I'm saying.
I had a strangled voice. It was very difficult to speak. When I did speak, it sounded strangled.
Before I had worked into the position of employment director, manager of employment. And he continued to make overtures.
To pick her up before too late and take her home. Do I feel that I'm likely to go back to it? No, I don't.
Ronald Figure. Okay, how long have you had this condition? A year and a half.
And he says, well, Ron, I'll give you 3 options too. He says, you can continue coming here for shots. You can call that doctor in California to schedule a surgery if you'd like. And then he goes, oh yeah, by the way, Ron, there's also this other guy. Go to his website, and he wrote down his name, thevoicedoctor.com, and handed it to him. And he says, check out this guy. He says he has a cure.
And so I found on the dystonia page that something that plagued people with focal dystonia was very often spasmodic dysphonia. And they called it, multifocal dystonia.
And I, as a patient who has experienced the fear and agony of thinking that my voice is disappearing.
It just got really bad lately. It chokes up. My voice chokes up. I can't breathe. I feel like I'm running out of air.
I didn't think that it could be so simple, but it was.
When sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act like a prism and form a rainbow. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act like a prism and form a rainbow.
Gradually through a period of a year, it kept getting progressively worse where within a matter of days it would occur.
This is the patient's recovered voice. The mastoid muscle.
And then I'd go in and start talking to my boss, and at the end of like a sentence, it would start dropping. And he'd say, what's wrong with your voice? And I'd say, I don't know.
I thought, what's happened? What have I done to myself? I know no one out there has this horrible problem I've got. But I found out there's an awful lot of people walking around out there in this world that have the spastic dysphonia.
And they say that it's because some motor signal from the brain is overamped and it tightens up the vocal cords.
It's pretty tragic, isn't it? Pretty tragic sound, and it's quite different now.
The last time he injected me with half a unit each in Botox, I completely lost my voice for 6 weeks. I was incapacitated. It was a complete roller coaster going through that, but that's the only treatment that they told me was available, and that I would be getting these injections for the rest of my life.
Couldn't think of any name, and my sister and I were joking around about how many people call the rabbit's cocktail, and I just said, oh yeah, wouldn't that be funny if I called it Q-tip? So we just called it Q-tip.
Can you talk with the rabbit again?
Hi Q-tip, how are you? Do you want to hop around today? Are you thirsty? Why did you bite my shoe?
Do you realize you change your voice when you talk to the rabbit?
Yes. I talked higher.
Who diagnosed it?
Scripps Hospital in La Jolla. Probably about a year and a half ago. They told me that it was neurological and I was born with it.
Other than the one time from Bryn where I had 6 months good voice, nothing.
I believe that spasmodic dysphonia is curable.
According to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it.
I've been here for the past 10 days trying to find a job, teaching position for the next academic year.
Jack, calm down. Oh, his crown.
They didn't know what to do because they couldn't get me out of it. So eventually I went to other doctors who told me I had spasmodic dysphonia.
Trying to get help is very difficult because you can't communicate your problem or just your trials. They want you to go to psychiatrists, and how are you supposed to go to psychiatrists when you can't speak?
Well, and then he says, well, how long ago did you see Dr. Cooper? And I went, oh my God, it's been 6 years. It'll be 6 years in June.
As I go through the day, even right now, I'm tending to raise my voice and go in the upper register.
You remember that voice?
I remember it.
Did you like it?
I didn't like it then, didn't like it now.
That's to help. And after a while, I regained my voice. Not 100%, but much better than it had been. And after about 2 years, it started to, again, got worse and worse.
I hope that by sharing, others too will find new hope for a life that allows them that greatest gift that God has given us, the gift that makes us human, that gift we call communication.
We're back in studio. The last person on the DVD is the Reverend James Johnson. He was diagnosed with neurological spasmodic dysphonia at the Mayo Clinic. He has been cured of his problem for over 20 plus years. The people on the DVD have been cured of their condition by direct voice rehabilitation, all natural. Unfortunately, I'm the only doctor in the world, it is unfortunate, to report cures, documented cures, ongoing cures of spasmodic dysphonia. It's considered hopeless by the entire medical profession worldwide, by all academia. You check their websites, all the medical centers say, and guarantee in writing there are no cures. I, unfortunately, am the only doctor in the world reporting ongoing cures of this condition by an approach called direct voice rehabilitation. It's all natural. The problem is that those who suffer spasmodic dysphonia are guaranteed by the medical profession, by my colleagues in the American Speech and Hearing Association, by the maker of Botox, Allergan, that there are no cures of the condition. Maybe by them, but by me there are cures. For 35 years I have peer review. In 1980 of cures of spasmodic dysphonia, I published and presented cures at the American Speech and Hearing Association in 1974, 1979, 1980, and as recently as 2000. Yet all in academia, all in medicine, and the Allergan company, the maker of Botox, well-intentioned, guarantee there are no cures of spasmodic dysphonia. I'm Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, Deep Throat Voice. That's the cause. Bye-bye.